Moose, and I'm an addict.
Hey, Moose.
What's up, guys? I'm sitting here with Kevin. What's up, Kevin?
What's going on, man?
Not much, man. Just living the dream, brother. And my wife, Ashlie.
Hello.
What's up, Ashlie?
Hello.
You looking at your camera?
Yeah.
And executive producer, Braden. What's up, Braden? Can't hear Braden, but glad you're here, man. Yeah, so podcast is going good. A lot of good feedback so far. We don't have a guest again this week, so we're going to get back into the steps on step 3. Before we get started, though, I was just kind of thinking, like, how's everything been going with you guys? You've had a lot of big changes this week. What's going on in your life, man?
Yeah, well, in between jobs, once again.
Unemployed?
Yeah, it's great. But, yeah, I don't know, sometimes you just stay at a place way too long. And, I knew I was done working there about 2 years ago, but I just stuck around and things just progressively seemed to get more and more feeling like they weren't the right place to be in my life, I guess you could say. And, the universe delivered an event, and now I don't work there anymore.
Now, listen, you got to let people you got to bring people in to have the vicarious pleasure of what you actually did, because you checked a probation officer.
Yeah, I got into it with the parole officer, actually. I don't do good with authority anyway. And, I felt like she was a little disrespectful to me. And I've seen her kind of talk to other participants that are in our program, and never been a big fan of the way parole officers talk to parolees, really. I don't know. And I felt a little disrespected and put her in her place.
Because she stole your parking spot.
She stole my parking spot. But it really wasn't about the parking spot. It was the disrespect, the disrespectful tone that she carried with me when I asked her. I told her she had parked in my spot, and she said, "Okay, well, I'll be right out, and I'll move my car real quick." And I said, "No problem." I went back outside and I sat in my car for about 7 minutes, and she didn't come out. So I went back in and I said, "Hey, that's disrespectful. You leave someone sitting outside. I'm waiting out in my car for 7 minutes, and you're going to come out and move your car, and here you're inside carrying a conversation with somebody else." And, and again, it's not about the parking space, but then she's like, "Well, here, you want to move it?" And she went to hand me her keys. And that's where I was just like, "No, that's bullshit. You just don't talk to, you ain't going to talk to me like that. I'm not on parole.
Right.
You ain't going to violate me."
Hey.
So, so I said something about it. I said something back to her, and
What did you say?
I didn't cuss at her. I just said, "Hey, that's disrespectful, and I don't do disrespect." I said, you're a parole officer. You're going to want to be respected around here, right? I said, you're gonna want some respect. You're gonna want these people to respect you. Well, you better bring it before you expect it. And I did it. My supervisor saw me do that. So,
long story short, Kevin's on parole now.
yeah, I'm on parole. Yeah, I got a report. Let's see.
You got a new
I got
PO.
3 days. I got to go report to my new PO. But I kind of had a feeling I might get fired for it. But at the same time, I've been working there I was working at this place for 6.5 years. About 2 years ago, I knew it was over with. I just knew it. I just knew I was done. I'd been through the ringer with the place. It was good until it wasn't good. And then when it wasn't good, I stuck around. Story of my life. When things weren't good, I stuck it out another 2 years. Felt like I wasn't growing, I wasn't going anywhere. And then the universe, God, Mother Nature, voodoo, karma, whatever it was, delivered an event. And now I don't work there. And I tell you what, man, I felt so liberated walking out the door of that place. It was a good place. I'm not blaming them. Whatever. They're there doing what they do. And that parole officer, she's probably a great person, man. It just happened the way it happened, and now I don't work there, and I feel great about it.
So now you're unemployed.
Yeah, now I work for the podcast.
Yeah.
This is what I do with 100% of my time now.
So are you going to apply for food stamps?
I might apply for food stamps and get some unemployment checks and see what I can do. I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen, but I'm not worried about it.
Yeah, that's awesome, man.
Yeah, I'm not worried about it. I'm just going to
Chop wood, carry water.
Chop wood, carry water, see what happens next, see what comes my way. Yeah, I've always been out trying to get it or make it. And I'm not going to do it. I'm just going to let it. I'm going to let it happen. I'm going to allow whatever happens to happen. I'll see what comes my way.
Good, man. Ashlie, what about you? What's new in your life?
I don't know. It's been so long since we've talked. I'm just getting excited about homeschooling our kids. Summer's almost over, so I'm really excited. Feel like creative juices are flowing and just getting real nerdy with homeschool co-op.
Yeah, so do you ever stop and think, wow, I was living out here homeless in Florida, and now I'm a trusted teacher for a school with 3 students?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I also think about are people going to judge me if they know what I used to do and now I'm a part of this homeschool community, or there are opportunities to become a tutor at the co-op and a director and stuff, and would I be disqualified because of something that I had done in my past that they're just not comfortable with? I remember one time when I was doing drugs, I don't know why there were kids there, but there were, and I remember I wanted to hold this girl's baby, and she looked at me like, are you kidding me? You're not holding my baby, you're high. And I think about that time a lot, actually, and now I have a ton of children, and I'm not high, but I think about that, if it's going to affect how people view me when it comes to me interacting with their kids. That's I don't know, it's a big deal.
So have we made recovery sound cool yet? Kevin's unemployed. He's about to get food stamps. Ashley's
nerding out.
Homeschooling. Now, you know what's cool about the homeschool, though, is that when we were there at the open house, everyone that we're sitting by is in recovery. It's the rest of the room, no one has tattoos. They look like really good, wholesome people. And then you get the recovery in, and everyone's tatted up, laughing, making stupid jokes,
snickering while the lady's trying to teach us stuff or tell us about the night or the days or whatever.
So we got the little recovery section. That'll be cool, though. But what, I always thought about this too, talking to newcomers. It's what do you do for fun now that you're sober? And I'm man, I don't even want to tell you because it doesn't sound fun. I'm having a great time with everything that I'm doing.
I don't know. I've been painting chalk, and I know that sounds super weird and childish, but I just get to paint with our kids on the sidewalk, and that sounds like a lot of fun, actually.
But someone coming off of a crack binge, are they thinking that's an upgrade?
Yeah.
Sidewalk chalk. Or you go bowling every Friday? Not anymore.
I go to bed at 8:30.
I'm having the time of my life.
Does that sound fun?
Yeah.
I go to bed at 8:30. I'm up at 5 a.m., 5:30. I don't set an alarm. I wake up automatically because I go to bed so early because I go to bed at 8:30.
Yeah.
I mean, how fun does that sound? It doesn't sound fun at all.
I don't know. I think we've got you one-upped because 9 p.m., Tim's everybody needs to be in bed by 9. And then we have everybody in our room. So we have 7 people sometimes in our room, and they're all our kids.
I mean, it's crazy. I can't even hold my eyes open. If it once 9 o'clock, it's already I already know. See, it's getting late now. I have a harder time holding my eyes open after 9 o'clock.
No, it's almost 4:20 Monday, bro.
Yeah,
I'm just kidding.
Exactly right. Yeah, but yeah, I mean, going to bed at 8:30, getting up at 5:30, going to the gym 4 days a week, practicing healthy diet and workout routines, meditating on a regular basis. It's like none of this stuff. That stuff didn't sound fun to me when I first got sober.
It's crazy too because, when I got sober, people would ask me like, "What are you doing for fun now?" And I thought, dude, I don't care if I never have fun ever again. That's where I was at when I got sober. I don't care if my life is boring forever. As long as I am not hurting every single day, I don't care if I have fun. But as a byproduct of being sober, I'm always having fun. Everything is fun. I remember Big Dave. You guys know Big Dave. He's like, I can tell my kids anytime, go and have fun. We can go in a gas station. Hey, kids, have fun. They go in a gas station, have the time of their lives. It's like, I don't need any certain conditions to be enjoying my life today. And it's like, what even is fun? And while we're using, we confuse fun with excitement. And a lot of the times when I'm having fun in addiction, I'm not. It's like afterwards telling the story is fun. But in the moment, it's like, this is not enjoyable. This isn't a good time,
There isn't any fun left in it either. Like it seemed there was a time where okay, drinking was fun and living normal life, a few days a week. And then, but I'm waiting for Friday. I'm working Monday through Friday. I can't wait till Friday night to go have fun again. And, but there's none of that. Like there is no fun. I've milked all the fun out of using drugs and anything associated with using drugs and alcohol. I've smoked, snorted, and drank all the fun out of it. There's none left.
Yeah, that is the other point.
So, I guess I can relate to kind of what you're saying there, where I don't even care if I have fun. I just want to get past this not fun part.
Yeah, that's the real point too. Is like, and when was it? If you're still having fun, you're probably not done.
Yeah.
It's still a good time for you.
Yeah, that's interesting. You makes me think of because you'll have people working at a treatment center. You'll have people ask you. They'll say, don't you ever think about drinking? Don't you see a billboard and think, oh, that'd be kind of nice to try that new vodka that came out or something like that. And I'm like, no, none of that sounds even remotely fun. The idea of drinking doesn't sound fun. The idea of using does not sound. None of that sounds fun. But that person's probably at a point where there's still a little fun left in it. Where I'm at the point where I've milked all that out. There's no fun in it for me anymore.
Right. Yeah, man. That's very true. It's a promise that it makes in the program that if you work the steps, the desire to use will be removed from you. It's like you're not just trying to stay sober, it's just gone. And early recovery, I had to try really hard to stay sober. I had to try really hard to avoid people and avoid places. And today it's just my preference. It's like, oh, well, we won't drink around you. We don't want to trigger you or anything. I'm like, I won't be triggered. I'll just be annoyed. I just don't want to be around you. You can do whatever you want.
Right. I learned how to just play the tape through and if I drink tonight, what is that going to look like? And it's just always bad. There's never any good thoughts that come with playing the tape through.
And hanging out at a bar, that doesn't sound fun. Going to a nightclub, that does not sound fun. It's kind of like what you're saying, right? Okay, even absent the drinking, the things associated with drinking, none of that sounds fun. Being out till 3, that doesn't sound fun. People yelling and screaming out my car window while I'm trying to drive home, not get pulled over. That doesn't sound fun to me. None of the stuff associated with it sounds fun.
I think I turned into a grandma when I got sober. I learned how to crochet. I do not want to go to a concert. My best day ever is waking up from a nap on a Sunday to a pizza that Tim has ordered. That sounds fun to me, not in a clean living room.
I'm also a gambler. And that does not sound fun to me. Going and playing roulette, that does not sound fun. There's no fun in that for me. I'm a gambler though. I have a gambling problem.
I hate gambling, but I'll tell you this. Anytime I go out after dark, I always think, I'm out there. A guy exactly like me is out here. He's willing to fight you in front of your family because he has nothing to lose and he hates himself. He is driving drunk or under the influence. He's not looking at the road and he's trying to find a vein. It's like, I'm out there. There's more than just me. He's on the road right now. He's at wherever they're drinking. He's there drinking for oblivion. And you might be the best thing that happened. You fighting him might be the best thing that happens to him all week, even if he loses. I bit that guy at least. It's like there's no limit.
That's so true. I would be out and middle of a blackout. I'm out there on the road driving down the highway. And so I didn't know if I was the only one. I never really thought about it. But when I'm out after dark and someone goes flying past me, I immediately think, I wonder if he's drunk. Like I'm looking at every car on the road with a little skepticism just in case. It's like I am not trusting anything that's going on when it's dark outside.
I'm thinking about this all the time. Because even in the morning, driving to work early or, going out early, I'm thinking, there's someone like me who's been up since last night. This is actually the most dangerous time to be around that person. He's on the road right now. A version of me is out there at 8 a.m. just trying to get home in one piece.
I think about that too. Driving home from Pops at like 6 in the morning while all the traffic is going the opposite way because everyone's trying to actually go to work and I'm like just trying to go home.
Yeah.
I remember the first time I drove sober on 70. I'm like, this is terrifying. This is really scary.
We're out there. We're still out there. Just because you got sober. Like New Year's Eve, I'm like, this is amateur night. I could probably get home safely on New Year's, but there's a lot of people that aren't going to be able to get home safely New Year's,
Are you talking about like while you were using?
Yeah.
You were a good driver when you were drunk? Better?
I hate to say it. I hate to admit this. I was a very good drunk driver. I was a phenomenal drunk driver.
I'm a bad sober driver.
I'm a terrible sober driver. I'm drunk. Who knows? I don't even know because I was usually in a blackout. I couldn't tell you how well I was doing or not, but I did lose a couple mirrors on cars from drinking and driving.
Did you have a DWI?
Yeah, I got a DWI.
That's why
I got sober.
Yeah. And you had a DWI.
I did.
I never got one. I got pulled over drunk, and the cop said, listen, I pulled you over because of your muffler. I didn't think you were drunk. Now get out of here. You better not kill anybody because I'm a phenomenal drunk driver.
Good for you. That's awesome.
To the point you were making, kind of talking earlier, I think so I came in, man, going to bed at 8:30, that didn't sound fun. Going to the gym didn't sound fun. Eating healthy, none of that stuff sounded fun. I was drinking a couple, I would show up at a meeting with a bottle of Mountain Dew. I'd be drinking a cup of coffee. I'd have a pack of cigarettes. I'm smoking at the meeting. I was smoking 2 packs of cigarettes a day. But not drinking sounded like a good idea. Not going to jail anymore sounded like a good enough idea. So I kept coming back. But then, one day, I don't know, you work on the alcohol problem. You work on the legal problems associated with it and that kind of stuff. You fix those up. And then one day you're like, well, what else could I do? And then for me, I started working out. And that was the only thing. Like I was still terrible sleeping habits, staying up till midnight, 2, 3 in the morning, watching movies all night, sleeping all day, same kind of stuff, smoking cigarettes, drinking Mountain Dews. But when you're going to the gym, I started working out, lifting weights and doing some cardio. You start to feel guilty. Now I'm feeling guilty because I'm drinking Mountain Dews and smoking cigarettes. So I started cutting back on those kind of things. And then I was feeling guilty for eating fast food all the time. But gradually over years and years and years, now I'm at the point where going to bed at 8:30, I don't smoke. I don't drink Mountain Dews anymore. I drink water and eat healthy and, have a pretty modest lifestyle. But I think it's a gradual thing getting there just by, turning your life over to the program, right?
Yeah. Early recovery, when people would ask me that about fun, I knew I was having it a lot. But it was like, what am I doing? Looking back, I wish I wasn't in such a big hurry to leave sober living because it's just like always this need to like go everywhere, and there's something I'm always trying to get done. But like sober living was so fun. And it wasn't, we did anything crazy. It would just be, all right, we went to the meeting, we came back to the house, everyone's sitting around, a bunch of the old alcoholics are digging into a quart of ice cream, and everyone's just talking about the meeting, making fun of the people, and we're just like belly laughing about the dumbest stuff. And then I would go to bed and I'd wake up and I'd be like, 32 days. I have 32 days. I didn't even think about getting high yesterday. I just woke up with another day sober, and I was counting it. I lost track at like 100 and something days. But I would go speak at Bridgeway, the treatment center I went to, and what do you do now that you're not using? And I'd be like, man, well, we went bowling, which I always thought bowling was so dumb, and I wouldn't even bowl half the time. I'd just be sitting there just talking, laughing, cutting up. And it's just, I am always having fun. But it's like you said, eventually, now I'm not even chasing the excitement and the laughs and the fun. It's just like I've inner contentment. Like everything I want, I have. You know, I have a wife, I have kids, we have a direction for our family. It's like that they say in the program, God will do for you what you can't do for yourself. God will give you things you didn't even know you wanted. Like there's things I have in my life today that the most fun I have is just laughing with my kids now, you know. But anyway, it's stuff that it doesn't, when you're just chasing the next high, it doesn't sound like these things are worth pursuing. So, but what does sound like it's worth pursuing is just, at least I know this didn't work. This lifestyle doesn't work. Let's just see what this one has to offer.
I found myself waiting for the next thing. And I started noticing like this was happening with everything in my life. Like, okay, I'm going to go to the dentist. I'm waiting to time, you know, it takes about 20 minutes to get to the dentist. So I'm waiting till it's 20 minutes before time to leave. And then it's time to leave. So I get my car, I go, and I'm driving. I'm waiting at the light. I'm waiting for that red light to turn green. Then I get to the dentist office. I'm waiting to see the dentist. Then I'm sitting in a chair. I'm waiting for the dentist. And then I leave, and it's like I go to work, and I'm waiting for this participant to show up to do our one-on-one after, you know, and then we're talking, I'm waiting for this participant to hurry up and get through the things they're telling me, and then I'm waiting for that to end, and I'm waiting for lunchtime to come, and I know it's like I was constantly looking forward to the next thing. I was constantly waiting for the next thing, whatever it is, coming my way, instead of just being happy with what's going on right frickin' now. I was always like leaning into what's coming next. I think that's part of the addiction too. I think it's it's the same kind of thing. I'm always trying to get to that next thing. And I think that kind of like looking back on my recovery, same time when you were living in that sober house, we were going to meetings, and I was driving the druggy buggy and taking participants to the meeting. And I mean, how much fun that was. But at the time, I was just thinking about the next thing. But looking back, it was like, man, look how much fun I was having. And I didn't even realize how fun it was at the time.
I wonder if that's an addict thing, or if that's something that we're like born with. Because I see our kids doing that too. And which is like, it could, who knows, you know. But I'm like, can't we just chill? You know, let's just enjoy this. It's like, well, we have to plan this. We got to do this. I'm like, can we just be in this moment right now? And it's really hard for them.
Go sit on the stairs and be bored. Stare at the wall now. And
maybe it's just like how like loud our world is too. Maybe a combination of all the things.
Stimulation.
Yeah, I'm like looking at, you know, I'll reach for my phone. I'll reach for something. How about just go lay under a tree for an hour?
I've been trying to do that more often, and it started with anger. I was just laying on our driveway, just like looking up at the clouds. And like the clouds are interesting because who actually knows what a cloud is right now? But I feel like when I was a kid, they were like fluffy, and we were talking about this the other day too.
Braden's looking at you. He's like,
is he?
What do you mean, what is a cloud now?
Well, I mean, it could be like cloud seeding. Who knows? We're not going to go into conspiracy theory.
Yeah.
Oh, chemtrails. Okay.
Yeah.
That's
what I'm referring to. Yeah, sorry.
Step 3, chemtrails.
But anyway, just trying to like hone in on that inner child of being bored again and just laying on the driveway and looking up at the clouds, seeing what shapes they are with our kids. That's so fun. I love that. That's fun.
Yeah, just having that inner contentment. And that I would say is probably one of the greatest gifts of recovery. And I noticed one day going to a meeting, I'm like, I wonder if I'm going to like anyone that's here. And then it hit me like, I used to think, I wonder if these people are going to like me. I'm like, wow, what a shift. Like, I don't even care. They're lucky that I'm here. That sounds horrible, but like, I don't need to impress you. I don't need to impress anybody. I have everything that I could have ever wanted. Everything else is just extra at this point, you know? And it's all a direct result of working a program, you know? And I think that's a good segue into the topic. It's like, we went through step 1 and 2, and, you know, what we're trying to do on here is not be the official, like, let's break everything down officially and technically. It's just like, no, let's just share what maybe someone else couldn't share in a meeting or something, you know, just sharing our own personal stories about it. But the first 2 steps, going into the first 2 steps are just kind of setting you up mentally. It's just like, my addiction doesn't work, something else works. So then what do I do next? I'm making a decision to, and like, I'm not scared of talking about God, but I'm making a decision to give up my will. And at first it's like, I can't say I'm doing God's will. I have no idea what that even means. And when I got to step 3, I remember telling my sponsor, what do I do now? I'm on step 3. And when I got sober, I had this idea that I'm going to out-recover people. I'm going to do this better than anyone else has ever done this. And that sounds insane, but like, I had to take all of my crazy thoughts and put it into something. And it's like, I want to work this program perfectly. Part of it was scientifically. Like, if I am going back to Bridgeway as a client, I want to be able to say, I did this and I did this thoroughly. So when I got to step 3, I remember telling my sponsor, like, okay, what now? Like, how do I do a perfect 3rd step? Do I move to Haiti and start building shelters for orphans? You know, like, what do I do? Do I have to act perfectly like Jesus? And he's like, man, all you need to do is the next thing in front of you that you're supposed to do. That's the only thing you're supposed to do.
Yeah. I looked at it like, you know, the same way, like, do the next right thing, you know, get up, brush your teeth, eat breakfast, comb your hair when I had hair. I used to have hair. Go to the meeting, you know. But also, like, I'm at the point, turn my will over to the care of God. I don't know, again, like you said, I don't know what that, I don't know if I'm doing it right or doing it wrong, but someone said, just do what we do. And that made a lot of sense. I'm just going to do whatever these people do at the meeting and just see if it works. I'm going to turn my will and my life over to the care of this meeting, these meetings, this program, sponsorship. Give yourself to this simple program. We read it all the time and how it works. Let go and let God let go and let the program take over. Let it dictate the pace and tempo in my life. Do what the program tells me to do and see what happens. Get a sponsor, work steps, go to meetings, do 90. They said do 90-90, so I did 90 and 90. They said get a sponsor, so I got a sponsor.
My sponsor, she made me rewrite the 3rd step prayer, and so that I can understand it better. and that's just, we like sat in her living room and we knelt down and we said the prayer together. And I thought that like something magical was going to happen, and it didn't. I just kept going to meetings and kept doing what she said to do. And kept reading the book, and then just continued. And it says after 3 that we launch into like vigorous action. Isn't that right?
Yeah.
And then we go into step 4. So it's like no time at all, you know, like she took me through the steps quickly. And I think I think it's important to do them quickly and effectively and like thoroughly, you know?
All right, before we jump back into the episode, let's give a shout out to the crew that keeps the Dank Recovery Podcast rolling, Asphalt Services LLC. These guys do it all. Churches, HOAs, tennis courts, pickleball courts, general contracting, you name it, they can handle it. If it's asphalt, they've got you covered. And now they're taking it even further with their brand new concrete division. So whether you need asphalt or concrete, they've got the tools and the talent to get it done right. Driveways, parking lots, sidewalks, they'll take care of it. The three owners have over 100 years of combined experience. So if you're in the greater St. Louis area and you need something fixed, paved, coated, striped, or poured, call Mike at 636-293-9244 or go to asphalt-services.com and make sure you tell them the Dank Recovery Podcast sent you. You made a really good point because it's like nothing magical happens when you're treating it like a step, like a checklist. If there's an old parable, I guess it's a guy comes to the rabbi and he says, "Rabbi, I've read through the Torah, now what? Or I've went through the Torah, now what?" And he says, "Now the Torah has to go through you." And I feel like it's the same way with working a program. Like I go through these steps, but it's like this has to become a part of me, the way that I live my life. You know, it's not just something not just words that I say or just things I check off a list. Like this becomes the way that I operate today. And it's, I don't know, I don't know how it sounds, but it works. I've
been saying the same thing. It's like you work the steps different ways. You work them. I work the steps with a sponsor, a technical way of working the steps. We went through them in order, one at a time. But then life will deliver things where you need to rely on the step. I've done many inventories. I had to do inventories, financial inventories, relationship inventories, work inventory, employment inventories, all these kinds of things. Like I've had to do these things in order to move forward mentally, spiritually, in my life, financially, whatever it may be, right? Like in order to continue making progress, I guess that's what I'm looking for. In order to continue making progress, I've had to rely on the steps in so many ways. I was talking earlier about how the 11th step, like I had to learn how to meditate. I had to do that. It wasn't like just something I thought, now maybe I'd like to get into meditation, see what that's about. It was more like life showed up in ways where the cure was one of the steps. The cure for getting through that situation was the 11th step.
Yeah, that's good, man. One thing that I think is important to point out is step 3 is just a decision. It's like, okay, all I'm agreeing to is working the rest of the steps, really. And I heard someone tell me early on, God's will is like a dartboard. It's not about hitting a bullseye. It's about just aiming at the board. So that's my only job working the steps, is just to go in that direction. Because I don't know, I can't speak for everyone, but early recovery for me was about doing good instead of bad. Don't do the bad things you want to do. Do the good things that's being suggested to you and see what happens. Now, when I make a decision to do God's will, it's typically between good and better. And that's where it gets really difficult. It's like, what should I do now? And it's like, just be content where you're at and just know that you can't possibly screw everything up. It's always fixable. As long as you're aiming towards doing good, it always has an opportunity to work out.
And letting go of my preconceived ideas of how I should handle situations. Because obviously the way I was handling situations got me a seat in AA. That's the best that my thinking had gotten for me. So now it's like, okay, when situations arise, turning my will over is, I'm going to call someone and see what they think I should do instead. I'm going to ask for some advice. Well, maybe you should handle it this way. My mind immediately goes, oh, that won't work. Because I'm naturally closed-minded to anybody else's ideas, but today it's like, when I'm brand new, I thought, that doesn't sound necessarily like the right thing, but I'm going to do it anyway. I'm going to take the suggestion. I'm going to do that anyway because I've tried my way already, and it didn't
Yeah.
work out. So we'll give it a day in court. We'll see what happens.
And I heard a saying that said, smart people learn from their mistakes, wise people learn from the mistakes of others. And I think in my addiction and even in early recovery, like I wasn't even a smart person. I'm making the same mistakes over and over and over and never learning from any of them, just blaming everyone else for it. But it's like through the process of giving up my will and trying it someone else's way, I'm like, man, there's someone who's been here before me in every situation of life, in marriage, in parenting, in what I do for work, every area. There's someone who's already been there and knows how to do it well. And if they're willing to share with me how they do it, then I would be stupid to not do that. Like that's the wisdom, is like, I don't have to reinvent the wheel with anything. But it's like the Picasso quote, learn the rules like a master so that you can break them like an artist. So it's like, there's a guy that I work with now. I'm like, how do you do what you do? Here's it. He's country. He's like, here's exactly how you do it, Tim. And I'm like, all right. And he's like, are you sure you want to do it like this? I'm like, I'm going to do it exactly the way that you do it because it works. And then as I learn how to do that, then I'll start to make it a part of who I am. But right now I want what you have. I'm going to do it your way.
I tell you what, you can go and go into meetings and being around doing fellowship in AA, you'll see a whole lot of what not to do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There is a ton of that going on. We could probably have a whole episode dedicated to what not to do, because I've seen people do some wacky ass stuff in recovery. At meetings, I've seen people get in a fight at meetings. I've seen someone throw their big book I seen a guy throw his big book at a woman at a meeting one time. You see some crazy stuff, and I think I may be thinking, wow, that's crazy, that's insane, but by the grace of God, there go I. I might have been thinking it. Somebody else acted it. I'm like,
yeah.
Oh wow, I was thinking the same thing.
I think that's something that might make us a little different than some people that you would meet in the program. Some people, they're perfectly content with only being sober. They don't care about any of the other stuff. They're perfectly fine living in whatever character defects they have, never improving the rest of their life. And it's like, man, good for you. I guess you'll be very relatable with 20 years sober to someone who's brand new in sobriety, because you're just a little bit better than they are. But I'm not. I didn't get sober just to be sober. I got sober to find out, one, who I truly even really am, because I started getting high when I was 13. I'm like, I don't even know who I am. And it made me think about something I shared with you, that in any conversation, there's 6 people. There's me, who I think I am. There's me who God knows I am. And then there's me who you think I am. And then the flip side is true. There's the you who you think you are, and the you that I think you are, and the you that God knows you to be. And our job in this program is, one, to find out who we really are, and then from there, introduce you to who you really are. And that was something that I wanted to get from this program when I got sober, is I want to know who I truly am. That's why when they try to put me on more medications and all this other stuff, I'm like, hold off on that. Like, I don't know who I am. Can I figure that out first? And maybe who I really am does need some psych meds. I don't even know. I don't know who he is.
I'm starting to wonder who the hell you're talking about. I don't even know who you're talking about. I can't figure. I'm like, who is he? Is he you talking about me? Because that's what my mind does. My mind always brings about. He must be talking about you.
Yeah.
I totally agree. I would say some of the same things. Like I would say, I still say, like, the version of me, right? There's a version of me, the version that I think I am, the version of me I want you to think I am, the version of me who I wish I was, and then there's the version of me that I really am. And I got to really pick through all that other stuff to get down to who I really am. And I think the steps kind of do that, you're pulling back the curtain on who I really am, and getting, and I can't really It's like you said, taking meds or just even making changes. I can't really make big changes in my life until I really figure out who the hell am I? Yeah. Really, who am I? Not who I'm trying to act like I am.
And what's crazy is like when you're in the program around like wise people, they already know when you're being the fake version of yourself. Like you come in with 30 days sober, I'm living life beyond my wildest dreams. Anyway, let me explain what this chapter of the big book means. And it's like, dude, can you just tell the truth? You're completely broken and miserable and you're maybe thinking about offing yourself. You don't have to pretend to be anything when you come in. And actually, everyone's going to respect you a lot more when you come in and just tell the truth.
Well, hey, you're going to actually get help too, because you're being honest with yourself enough to be vulnerable with somebody else.
I wasn't one of those, but I've seen them people come in. I mean, I've seen a guy come in, and I was going to some meetings in South County, and just the brutal honesty of where he was at, how poorly he was doing, his situation. It's just like, wow, what a breath of fresh air when someone comes in with complete honesty. I wasn't that guy. I came in trying to put up a front like I was doing better than I really was. I mean,
yeah, so I'm talking about that guy, but I was him too. Even, man, when my brother died, I remember going to a meeting 3 days later and telling people that I'm doing really good and I'm in a good place with it. And I look back and I cringe at that because I'm like, dude, I was destroyed. I was emotionally just leveled. Like, what was I trying to prove? It's like I wanted to be so spiritual that I could overcome something perfectly natural like grief. Like, it is normal to be upset when you lose someone. You'd almost be a sociopath if you didn't hurt when someone you love died. But, coming into the program, when I see a new guy come in and they're talking like you were just talking about, that guy who's super vulnerable, like, yes, he might have a chance. He's got nothing to prove. Yep, I'm here because everything sucks in my life. It's destroyed, and I'm just here for help. Is anyone willing to sponsor me? I'm like, wow, dude, that's awesome. Like, glad you're here. I want to go talk to that guy. Keep coming back. I want to be your friend.
Man, recovery's so funny. I mean, working in recovery is funny too, because you see, like, I seen this kid come in. You probably know who I mean if I said his name. And he was in drug court when he came into the treatment center, and wasn't his fault. They were screwing him over, whatever, and I mean, the whole time he was a pain in the butt. 21 days, I'm just like, man, I had to deal with this kid, put up with him, didn't want to be there, didn't care about steps, didn't want to get no sponsor, do anything like that. I mean, I thought this kid ain't got a chance. And then it was like 2 years later, I'm on a float trip, and he's on the float trip. He's been sober the whole time. Like, he's got a sponsor, and he's sponsoring people, he's got a home group. I'm like, how did that happen? But recovery, the program does that to people. You get court ordered to do a meeting, or you do one thing, you get a sponsor or something, and I don't know, maybe they have a psychic change. People have a psychic change. It's a different person.
I learned a long time ago that I can't bet on people. I remember at Bridgeway as a counselor, the best client I ever had, I was working doubles. I would work all day as a counselor, and then I would take the second shift as a tech afterward. And there was this one guy who stayed on my hip. He was asking me questions. He's taking notes the whole time. And I'm like, this guy is going to get it. Like, I can't wait to see how good he does. He left treatment and died immediately, overdosed and died. And I was just baffled. Fast forward, there's another guy who I'm like, do you believe in a higher power? He's like, yeah, Satan. And I'm like, oh gosh. Okay, right on. I'm just so thrown off. I don't even know what to say. And I'm like, well, do you at least understand that you're an addict? He's like, I don't think there's anything wrong with using heroin. Like, I think a little heroin's good for you. And I'm like, bro, you are going to die so fast. You'll set the new record of how fast someone overdoses and dies. Like, I would say in my mind, I thought, this is the worst client I have ever had in the history of working here. And fast forward, I'm at a meeting sharing my story, and this guy stands up, the satanic guy who believes in recreational heroin who stands up. He's like, you probably don't remember me, but I was in treatment with you and I'm celebrating a year sober. And I said, so what happened to all the other? He's like, I don't know, man. I was just willing to set it aside for the time being and see if this worked. And I'm like, man.
Is Satan still his
I was
higher
going to
power?
ask.
I don't know.
Maybe that's working for him.
Yeah.
Satan's like, you know what? Let's let this guy get sober.
Yeah.
We'll help him out.
That would be the only explanation. Satan is like, I'm going to throw a curveball at these AA guys with their.
Satan's like, I got a bigger plan for this guy.
Yeah. We're going to let you destroy people's concept of God. But it just goes to show you, like, we have no idea, but it's the underlying willingness to try something different. And I think, kind of wrapping up about step 3, it really comes down to, Kevin, you're sitting here with, how long have you been sober now?
Let's see.
I know you don't like to count.
16 years.
16, and I have 13, and Ashlie, you're about to have 11 soon.
Only 10 now, though.
I'm going to front you a couple months.
That's it. It's just 10.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just 10.
I remember when I had 10 years. But it's like, we wouldn't be sitting here talking about giving up our will. Like, there's a proper use of the will, but setting our ideas aside and being willing to try things a different way. Like, if that didn't work, we wouldn't be doing it. We wouldn't be talking about it. I'd be telling you how to exert yourself or how to use your willpower, and if you got sober through willpower, good for you. But there is something that happens that is miraculous when we set aside our ideas and try it a different way. And then, I don't know, I guess, learn who we really are in the meantime,
Can I say something?
Yeah.
When I first heard about step 3, it was just always like the will. Like the word will stuck out to me. I want to do God's will. Like that was just like so like confusing. But lately, these past few days, I've just been thinking about decisions, and like that's the beginning of the step is we made a decision. And like if you think about it, every relapse story that I've ever heard is like, I made the decision to relapse long before I actually ever took a drink or a drug, right? So like, I don't know, just like internalizing that decision, like that scene, I don't know, it's just like really profound to me lately. I've made a decision long before I ever take an action. So that's what step 3 is about, making the decision to turn my will over, making the decision to not drink today and to follow different directions. And like, that is so much more simpler. I don't know. It just seems so much more simpler to me right now.
You ever heard of acceptance and commitment therapy?
Mm-mm.
It's some program that's, it's like a curriculum, kind of like, well, it's like CBT, but it's not CBT. It's different. But I mean, it's like, it's in the category of something people would use to help people in recovery, like cognitive behavioral therapy, but they call it acceptance and commitment therapy. But it kind of makes a lot of sense with like step 3 where, and I think also we kind of work step 3 in different ways where maybe I worked step 3 before I ever worked it with a sponsor. Like I made a decision that in the acceptance commitment therapy part, right? It's like, okay, I got a problem. I accept that this alcohol problem, it's just not working. I can't beat it. I'm outmatched. And then the commitment is I'm going to make a commitment to doing something about it. And with step 3, it's like I'm making that commitment. I made that decision that, okay, I did step 1 and 2, but I made that decision that, yeah, obviously this ain't working. I'm going to do something about it. And that's turning my will over. I'm going to do this program and see if we can fix it.
That's good.
In a committed way. And what I mean by that is like it says, half measures avail us nothing. I'm all the way in. I went all the way in. I'm going to do whatever y'all tell me to do. I'm just going to do it.
That kind of brings it back to a point Ashlie was making. It's like the checklist versus the heart posture, because I think a lot of people they're on step 4 when they walk in the door. I know I can't beat this. I believe that this could work for me, and I'm willing to do whatever these people tell me right when they walk in. And, that's why I'm a fan of working the steps quickly.
That's what I was going to say too, because, one minute he's worshiping Satan or whatever and recreationally using heroin, and then in that there's a quick moment where things shifted and changed, and it's like we're making this decision we need to pounce on it like quickly and start moving into action, because all I need is a minute and I'm going to change my decision. All I need, we have a daily reprieve. Every single day I have to wake up and make this decision. And like some days it can feel harder, and I think like now that I've gained sobriety, it's much easier, and we have like a different life, and things have become very objectionable now that I've been sober for a while. So that decision is easier, but in early recovery, those windows are so short, and it literally is life or death. And I think we know that looking backwards, but as a newcomer, it is hard to understand that,
You can always work them fast and then rework them.
Right.
Exactly.
It's not going to hurt to get through them real quick. It's not going to, I don't see where, a lot of people talk like it may be too fast. I think, I don't think too fast. Definitely. For an addict, it's like telling an addict it's too much work. It's whatever. I mean, I'm a workaholic. I'm an addict. I can go way above and beyond what's considered normal or whatever. Right. So it's never going to be too fast or too much.
Yeah.
Addicts and alcoholics don't want to do anything in moderation except the steps. That's the only thing. We're like, you know what? I should take it easy. It's like, come on, man. I never said that about anything.
Yeah, going to treatment. It's like, man, I need help. If I don't get to treatment, I'm going to die. And you know what? We do have a bed after all. So, okay, so when, you can come this afternoon. You're like, today?
How about tomorrow?
Maybe tomorrow. How about, I got a couple
Help
things
me.
I need to get in order first.
My grandma needs me.
Yeah.
I gotta.
Oh, my grandma. It's like that scene on The Office. Help me. But help me when I'm in the mood to be helped. Yeah. Help me the way that I would like to be helped.
I'm so helpful to grandma, nodding out on her couch.
Stealing from her. If I don't live with my grandma, how is she going to get robbed? Someone has to rob her.
Every day.
That'll really sound bad to people in my family who know that I genuinely feel remorseful for stealing from my grandmother. So just throw that out there. Okay, so before we wrap up, we have a new segment we're going to start doing where we share stories from other people who follow the page and send in their stories. And today we have a good story from a guy named Noah Christopher. He gave me permission to use his full Christian birth name. Anyway, this is a kind of a funny story. He says, I'm a recovering benzo and opioid addict, and I used to black out on fake Xanax bars. Bromazolam. That sounds made up. Bromazolam. What's up, Bromazolam?
What's up, bro?
Or was he saying, bro, Mazalan?
No,
Bro.
it's Bromazolam.
Bro.
Anyway, I do real drugs, Noah. I don't know what this Bromazolam is. Anyway, I woke up one morning and checked my phone. It was a Wednesday. Now, the last time I recall being conscious was a Sunday, so that was concerning. As soon as I opened my eyes...
A little concerning.
Yeah.
I mean, when you're doing that stuff on a regular, it's a little concerning.
Oh, Braden's got the notes. Okay, bromazolam's real. It's a type of triazolo. That sounds like someone that listens to Insane Clown Posse. Yeah, what's up? What's up, my triazolos?
All the triazolos and juggalos out there.
Anyway, okay, we've confirmed it's real. Thanks, Jamie, for the investigation there. Okay, so as soon as I opened my eyes, my ex-girlfriend asked me, where'd you get the drills and why? I had no idea what she was talking about. I looked on the floor next to the bed, and there was 2 Milwaukee cordless drills that I have no recollection of getting. I'm not sure how I managed to get them out of whatever store I went to, because oftentimes they're locked in a glass case or what have you. I know I didn't pay for them because I wasn't missing any money, and to my knowledge, I hadn't been caught or got arrested. I don't remember getting arrested. To this day, I have no idea where or how I got them. This was a common occurrence. I'm not sure what it is about benzos and stealing, but the stereotype is definitely true in my case. Thank you for that story, Noah. I appreciate it. He said I can use his name. He loves the podcast. He says he's going to school for social work. That's awesome, brother. So, yeah, stealing and benzos. It seems like a common theme. And I just had a guy in my sober living house. I was out to breakfast with him, and I was like, what made you want to get sober? And he said that he had been binge drinking and taking Ativan, and the final straw was that he woke up and his hands felt like they were on fire. And he said he finally opened his eyes and got in the light and looked at his hands, and he had a tattoo, a full hand tattoo of Harley Quinn on one hand and a full hand tattoo of the Joker on the other hand. And he was like, had no memory of getting these two tattoos, and was like, I need some serious help. And then he checked himself into treatment, and now he's in sober living. And I had another sponsee, Dylan, rest in peace. I love that dude. He's like, man, he had a charge for stealing. I'm like, what'd you get caught stealing? He's like, man, I was on Xanax and I stole an apple. And I was like a MacBook? He's like, no, like Granny Smith.
He got charged for that?
He didn't like an Apple Watch? He stole a Granny Smith, not a Honeycrisp?
Like a whole tree? Like, what?
I thought for sure it was like some kind of Apple Watch or something like, nope, Granny Smith. Yeah, not even a Honeycrisp, bro.
Yeah, not
come
even
on.
a Honeycrisp. So, I mean, come on.
I was so out of it, I didn't know what was the right apple to steal. But yeah, endless stories of stealing on Xanax or.
It starts with lighters.
Yeah.
That's how it starts. You just start accumulating lighters. I remember having like 7 lighters. I'm like, where did I get all these lighters?
Benzo thief. Yeah, and then you upgrade all the way to hand tattoos and power drills.
Power drills, yeah.
So thanks for the laugh, Noah. Appreciate that. So with all that being said, we're going to wrap up this episode of the Dank Recovery Podcast. Big shout out to Ashlie and Kevin for hanging out with us today and every week. Love you guys. Thanks for keeping it real. We appreciate you sharing your stories and your experience with
Step 3.
Step 3. Good old step 3.
Yeah.
Sound like Joe and Charlie over
got
here.
sober.
That's when you need to work that step 3. Like Joe.
Yeah, I became an old man when I got sober too. Anyway,
now we get to grow old together.
Right, stepping. Yeah. Aww. If you're out there struggling or you need someone to talk to or even just related to anything that we talked about, send an email to timothy@dankrecovery.com, which is funny because someone's like, hey, I sent an email to that email address and it bounced back. And I switched debit cards and they turned off my email, but it's back on. You can still send emails to
Timothy. You bounced a check.
Yeah. You can still send emails to timothy@dankrecovery.com. And if you've got a wild recovery story or just a piece of advice that could help someone else, we'd love it. And who knows, you might even end up on the show like Noah did. So don't forget to follow us on Instagram at Dank Recovery for new episodes, daily memes, and the kind of content that'll make you laugh at the stuff you once cried about. And make sure you subscribe and come back next week for another episode or dive into the last one if you can't wait. And as always, happy birthday to all the birthdays and welcome to all the newcomers. See you next week.